Oh, that didn't scare you? Well, fuck it, this movie won't. So The Nun tells the story of a Catholic priest and a soon-to-be nun that go to Romania to a creepy as fuck castle to figure out a dark secret about why a nun killed herself. Alright guys, we're at the latest chapter in the Conjuring shared universe films. Thank you, Marvel. Now everybody has to be a fucking universe. I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring films. I think the first one is by far the strongest of any of these movies. I think most people would say that, but I really like the second movie. I think that Annabelle, the first one, is not nearly as bad as most people say it is. It's bad, but it's not the worst thing ever, and I really enjoyed Annabelle Creation. I think it was in my top 4 horror films of last year. Really liked that one. So coming into The Nun, being the fact that the nun character, Valak, was one of the creepiest parts of The Conjuring 2, and one of the most interesting parts being that the entire thing was in reshoots. It was an idea that James Wan had after the movie was already completed, that he wanted to go back and the studio trusted him enough to change his own movie with more money. The whole story with that is cool, but just the fact that we got a side story with one of the creepiest characters, I was looking forward to this movie quite a bit.
I had a series of visions when I was younger. And after each one ended, the same thought would be stuck in my head.
And I'm here to tell you, it's going to be real hard to decide between this and Annabelle which is the worst of this franchise. The Nun is not good. Starting with what's good about this movie though, I think that the cast, the people that they put in place for these characters, are all very good and capable actors for the most part. Taissa Farmiga, I've seen her do a couple of things, especially on TV with American Horror Story. I think that's where most people know her from. She's already proven that she's a very good actress. You get the guy whose name I'm not going to butcher who plays the Catholic priest. I've seen him in quite a few things, and he's very good. I think that this movie does a good job at building atmosphere, just to the fact that this castle, just looking at it, makes you creeped out just by seeing it. The fact that they're walking through the halls and you just feel this palpable tension, almost like you're walking through the halls with these characters. There is some very creepy and very morbid atmosphere that The Nun goes for that it does achieve. And my final positive, yes, I'm done with my positives already, for The Nun is that the way that they decide to tie the nun into the overall universe, the way that they decide to tail end the story back into itself in the final scene, I think was a pretty smart and creative way to do it. Despite one very large logic issue with one of the people in this scene, which I'm not going to get into for spoiler reasons, but if you've seen the movie, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The way that they decide to do it story-wise, I feel like it's very smart, and it was like, okay, cool. You kind of had that in mind probably, but that was a nice way to make this movie make sense to exist within this universe.
Visions reached the church, and I was asked to accompany a priest to an abbey in Romania.
Now, as far as the negatives, hope you like jump scares, because there's one every 15 fucking seconds. The way that they execute this movie is almost like a haunted house car ride at a theme park. Like, you get in, and it just takes you from room to room to room where something jumps out at you, or something creepy is walking by, or something creepy is heard, and it's to the point where it's just a collection of built-up scare scenes that are stitched together with a somewhat sorry excuse for a story. Because by the time they get to this castle, the story and the mystery and the thing that they're trying to uncover kind of just fades to the background, and you're just on this little cart ride that you can't get out of, seeing jump scare after jump scare after jump scare. And the movie repeats the same types of jump scare over and over and over again. If you see one scene where a character sees something clearly, and then the camera pans down for them to look at something else, and then pans up and whatever they were looking at is gone, go ahead and bet fucking money when that camera turns to the side, that shit's gonna pop up again and go blah. I mean, they use that tactic numerous times in this movie to the point where even if it did scare you the first time, which didn't even fucking come close for me, if it did effectively scare you the first time, I have a hard time believing it's going to scare you the second time, the third time, the fourth time, or the fifth time. Unless this is the only horror movie that you've seen in the past 10 years.
Abbey has a long history. Valak. Not all good.
That also creates a story issue, which I've already kind of told you, but whenever you go for that type of direction for this movie, where it's just this haunted house ride where you're just trying to startle us time and time and time again over 90 minutes, the story just is almost non-existent. The story is very intriguing when it starts off with this nun committing suicide, and you get these other two characters that are tasked with figuring out why the fuck she was doing that. If it was a sacrifice, if it was out of fear, if it was just something brewing beneath her, was she possessed? That mystery is intriguing until you actually get into unfolding the mystery, and then it's just a collection of scenes of the priest looking at shit, talking about Catholic stuff, and the nun-to-be character played by Taissa Farmiga walking around with a fucking lantern, getting startled over and over and over again. Especially when you consider this movie as a prequel to The Conjuring 2, we already know the fucking character of the nun is this demon Valak, so we already know what the monster in the fucking haunted house is. That's the problem with prequels. You know where the shit's gonna end, so there's the whole thing that they kind of crux this movie on a mystery that they kind of fall in their face with. Even when they're effectively doing the mystery, you already know what the big question mark's gonna be at the end. It's fucking Valak.
Shouldn't him down. God's here.
And can I just say, I know this is a horror movie. I know you have to suspend disbelief for some of these things in any of the subgenres of horror, especially slashers, which I'm most closely attached to. When you have a movie that is just scene after scene after scene after scene of two characters continuously getting startled by something that should scare the fuck out of you and make you run out of that castle seeing it one time, and continuously you walk into one room, something fucking demonic jumps out at you, scares the shit out of you, oh my god, now they're gone. Let's walk into the next room. Oh my god, it's something else. Walk into the next room. Oh, there's no fucking way that these two characters would stay in that goddamn castle. I'm sorry. That is way too much disbelief for me. And even aside from that, just the acting, I mean, their performances are pretty good, but just the acting themselves with the progression of this movie, these characters would at least be progressively getting more scared throughout this story, but it just never feels that way. It feels like you have somebody gets scared, then they cut to another person doing something, like the Catholic priest is looking at some, Bibles and shit, trying to put together the pieces, and then he gets startled. Then you go back to Taissa Farmiga, and she's totally normal again. Like the past 2 or 3 jump scare scenes never even happened, and she just walked into this castle. Her heart rate's not up. She's not like hyperventilating. There's not any kind of a worry or a sense of, holy shit, is there anything else that's gonna fucking jump out at me in this castle? And it just feels like the reset button keeps getting hit on these characters to the point where it's annoying. Every single time they get scared, they cut to something else, they come back, and it's like nothing ever happened to these characters, and they're just starting their story. That annoyed the fuck out of me. And let's talk about the character of the nun, Valak. The reason that we have come to see this movie, because it was such a good, effective, scary-ass character in The Conjuring 2. I will tell you this. Due to the writing, the execution of the director, and the way overuse of bad CGI regarding the character of Valak, take any of the scenes of The Conjuring 2 with that character, and that character, or that one specific scene that you are thinking of, is scarier than anything in The Nun put together. When you have a movie that is put into production and is made because the fans love a character and responded to a character so much, and you water down the effectiveness of that character so much, that is a really big disappointment. And the only other negative that I'm going to get into is the character of Frenchie. Now, I didn't hate this character as much as some, but it's definitely a negative on this movie because he has no place in the tone of this movie whatsoever. This guy thought he was in a Stephen Sommers movie. This guy thought he was in The Mummy 4. He is like there for comedic relief. He's not taking anything seriously. He's there making quips and kind of spouting off one-liners when scary, outworldly shit is going on. No place for that in this movie. And my final negative, I will say, the writer of this movie felt like he was either rushed or completely uninspired while writing this story, because almost every single thing that happens in this movie I have seen in another horror movie. Every sequence, every story direction, even individual scenes feel completely ripped out of certain movies, to the point where I don't know if this dude was just rushed last minute or he just took way too much influence to the point where it became plagiarism. But if you were a horror fan, guarantee you're gonna watch this movie and think of at least one movie that this almost directly mimics that was done better in that movie you were thinking of. Hey James, yeah, I'm gonna need more time to work on this script, man. I can't get it done by that date. I'm trying to make a good movie. Do you want another Annabelle? Do you want another Annabelle? Well, I need more. Well, I need more. Yeah, well, fuck you and Aquaman. Red-haired bastard. Oh, what the fuck am I gonna do? Shit's due in a week. Oh, fuck. It's all good. So all in all, guys, highly disappointed with The Nun. I think this is another reason why they don't need to force a shared universe with these movies, just because they know that they'll make money. I mean, The Nun, I guess, is making more money than any of these movies, which is fucking a crime. So we're probably gonna get more. We're probably gonna get The Nun Creation or something like that, which maybe it'll be good like Annabelle Creation, but it's disappointing that they didn't learn their lessons from Annabelle. It's disappointing that you have a character that can be very effectively scary, and we've seen it done that way, and it just gets so mishandled to the point where this is just a very generic, boring, sorry excuse for a modern horror movie that really you don't need to waste your time with. So if you're a fan of the Conjuring universe, just stick to the Conjuring movies or Annabelle Creation. I know the Nun is an awesome character, but I promise you, you will get more entertainment and scares out of the scenes in the Conjuring 2 than you will with anything in the Nun. So go ahead and feel comfortable while skipping the Nun. So what do you guys think of The Nun? Did you have fun with this movie, or were you like me, just kind of checking your watch, wondering for when this movie is actually going to get started? Put your thoughts for The Nun down below, and do you want to see another Nun movie and see if they can do it well for a second time, like they did with Annabelle Creation? At least in my opinion, that was better. Put your thoughts down below. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you guys want to check out some social media links, check the video description below for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel, help it grow and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only. If you decide to become a patron, like the ability to do requested reviews or get the Blu-ray digital copy codes from all the Blu-rays I buy almost every single week, that's all Patreon exclusive. And also my Spreadshirt store, which has Cody Leach merchandise like t-shirts with some very cool designs. So check that stuff out, guys. If you guys want to check out some more of my videos, you can check them out by clicking right over here.